Vice President Kamala Harris was asked about immigration, the administration's policies, her history on it, and she said this in a CNN interview last week. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequences. And as a presidential candidate this time around, she seems to have adopted a tougher stance on immigration than she did when she was running for president 4 years ago. So what are your thoughts on this new approach?
Well, I wish she would have started it 3.5 years ago. She is in the job. She was appointed to oversee our border. So she has been in the job and in the role for the last 3.5 years. Well, where was she on these really solvable problems that she now believes that she has those answers to over the last 3.5 years? And I think that Texans certainly believe that she has flip-flopped tremendously just to get voted into office. And her California principles, or she says her values haven't changed. I watched that same CNN interview. Well, what are those values? When you first said we're for open borders running for president, that we will provide amnesty, we will provide all of these components, where are those your values? Because you're on record saying that, or are your values now these totally different 180-degree change of no, we want border security? So I think that it's very unclear, and I don't think voters actually have a real understanding of where she is because she's not been clear about it.
Do you think her saying that we need to have consequences, we have laws that need to be followed, clearly this is tougher than what she said in 2019. Do you welcome this, what many have called a flip-flop, or are you concerned with she gets into office and this is empty rhetoric?
Personally, I'm concerned that it's empty rhetoric. Her voting record, she has a record, and that is a baseline of how she will govern. And, her home state is providing free health care to illegal immigrants. They're now potentially providing housing subsidies to up to I think $150,000 for illegal immigrants. Now, I can't remember if that's the right number, but they're treating illegal immigrants better than their own citizens. And so my concern, and I think most Americans should be concerned, that it's empty rhetoric.
I know that she was asked then point blank, you've been in office now 3.5 years. Why has there not been as serious, staunch action as the border as you're talking about now? And she said that she supported the bipartisan border deal. She blamed former President Donald Trump for having his allies in the House kill it because it was an election year. What do you make of that? And was that bipartisan deal something you supported?
AFP, Americans for Prosperity, was integral in working on that bill. It was necessary that we actually begin to tackle this issue. It was frustrating as someone that works in public policy that it took 3.5 years for anyone to kind of put pen to paper on the policy versus just use it as a political football. Here in Texas, our Texas members said, you know what, this doesn't go far enough. And I spoke to a lot of our members, and they said, this is not far enough on illegal immigration. They're allowing too many illegals to come in on a daily basis. This isn't real, meaningful border security policy. This is more immigration reform. And I think Republicans in the House wanted border security first and immigration reform second. And I think that when they put together this massive bill that tried to do a little bit of everything, kind of turns out when you try to do everything, nothing kind of happens. And I think that that's why we saw the whole bill fall apart and blow up.